Welcome back to some professional StarCraft 2. No, you haven't stepped into a time machine. Instead, this match was played just last week in the AlphaX Brawlers Club. Though you might have been fooled, especially if you didn't know the map. I am humbled, excited, ecstatic, and mildly aroused to introduce the arguably second best player in StarCraft 2 history. The second place finisher in so many tournaments for so many years, finished with his obligatory South Korean military service, and ready to wield what he's learned once again. I welcome back Sue. Now, he's got a worthy challenger, and why I say this isn't a time machine match. No, he's stepped up in Sue's absence. Possibly because of it. But in the time that Sue has been gone, he's risen from the best of the rest to the best of the best. It is the People's Terran, Dragon Phoenix Gaming's Cure. Not known for the best micro, or even necessarily the best macro. But he knows his limits. And he knows his opponents. Just one of the most solid Terran players. And I don't say that as caster solid, like, oh, they're solid, they're solid. No, that's what Kier has going for him. That's his whole thing. Because while he might lose those Marines, he has plenty more to replace them. So I'm excited. Make sure to smash that like button. Subscribe. I know, I'm a little late, but the Reaper is not. So it's going to harass a handful of these Zerglings too. Now, a few things. Kier, okay. Kier was also blocking the third. No NG Bay, but oh, I lost my train of thought with Kier almost losing that Reaper. I'm sure I'll wander back to it. And some might wonder, like, are you able to play StarCraft 2 at all while you're doing your military service? From my understanding, many of the players, especially those planning on returning, choose a more administrative role where they are able to just go home and play. They're just not allowed to play in tournaments. So I don't know how much Sue has been playing. But I don't expect him to be picking up the game for the first time for this tournament. But we'll have to see. Kier is a strong test. It's kind of your baseline. He's the player. If you can at least go toe-to-toe with Kier, you can start working your way up towards, well, Brenda. Queens. Still slow. Still struggle off creep. Grenade. Alright. Queens work their way back. It's 3 minutes and 40 seconds. It's quite a late third base. You're gotta be a little suspicious of that. And for good reason, because there's a lair halfway done. And 2 gases. And no Roach Warren started. It hasn't been that long since you played, Sue. It hasn't been since Heart of the Swarm. Why are you going Mutas? Yeah, I mean, it's not the most... Rush, essentially 2-base Mutalisk. He's not even getting his Baneling Nest in time. Like, this is the most blatant Mutas. Even though Sue's not even trying to hide it here. Because what else? Immediate 420 Spire. Wants to get a high Muta count. I love it, but also in a... Ooh, you're really feeling spicy today. Cure is... we have barely paid attention to him as almost the cookie cutter defining standard build here. He went 3 CC with 4 Hellions, adding on 3 racks and 2 NG base. He's going to have Marines, going to have Medevacs. He's got enough Hellions to keep things busy. And then working on his Marine upgrades. So we've seen it before. I'm sure we'll see it again. Cure sticking to his guns and, well, drugs as well, which apparently help you shoot the guns faster, which is, don't question it. So, that's just how the Terran army do. So you're spreading out the creep. How much is Kier seen?
Add-on complete. Research complete.
Very little. The only potential tell is really that he didn't take the third for so long. That is a little suspicious. Thing is, if Kier had any suspicions of a Nidus, or even like a Ling drop, or any sort of early lair tech, it's pretty clear that he is building turrets right on time. Well, you know what? Maybe Kira understands, or maybe he's played against Sue since he came back. Either way, the turrets are on time. Kira is not someone who skips SCV scanning. He's not someone who skips the turrets, especially if he hasn't confirmed what it's going to be. Kira, once again, showing why he's such a consistent player. And now is his opportunity to show the micro he's been practicing. Banelings without speed and no upgrades. Mutas are out. They're headed across the map. The turrets are already up in the mineral line. All Kira has to do is make sure the mutas don't pick off anything extra. He does find a scan. There's no turret at the third, though. Sue finds a weak point. And now Kira's going to have to manage both sides of the story here. Yeah, the muta is showing up. The most obvious base is the most vulnerable. 8, 9, 10 SCVs, and Kira's kind of scrambling back. Is he looking to intercept the mutas? Kira just blindsided. It looked like he had at least a suspicion the stench of mutas was on the air, but so far Sue has killed 10 SCVs and lost nothing. He's lost creep tumors and a handful of Zerglings. He kind of just pickpocketed Kira's SCVs there. Well, a couple evolution chambers up towards the north side of the third. Maybe not where you want to have your upgrades going, but something to help wall off the Marines potentially. Baneling speed is done. Cure does have 1-1, and he does have combat shield, so that's going to be a big part of defending against this. Hellbats, morph, but that is just incidental mostly. He's going to try to... a few Marines. I expect some of us in the wreckage, brothers. The mutas are just fighting. Sue understanding that the best way to manage Mutalisk is decisively. Wow. I love how he just went for it. He lost a grand total of 2 mutas. Microed a couple back. A lot of players will kind of go back and forth like, I don't know. Should I just fight it? Yeah, I mean, 1 versus 1, mutas beat Marines. It's just usually you don't want to trade, because if your critical mass gets whittled down, it's not very threatening. But 2 mutas for 2 medevacs of Marines, that's nothing. So far, so good. For the returning Zerg. Okay, he's back. Here, not giving him the respect and not giving the mutas the respect they deserve. Sue's at 80 drones. Double upgrades, more mutas. Creep is halfway across the map. Kira's gonna have to be careful where he picks his next fight. Lings and Banes. This is not Kira's comfort zone. Against the, it does kind of require micro from the Terran side of things. He's gonna burrow those Widow Mines. Sue doesn't seem to care. The Widow Mines just busts through him with the Banelings, but the sheer Marine count holds the mine. Kira working his way up towards 30 or 70 SCVs. More Lings on the way. I think, yeah, Sue's reached that 20 muta count. Enough to one-shot Widow Mines. I think pretty close to enough to one-shot medevacs, especially with +1 finishing up. You don't want to go too far into the mutas because at some point they become a liability. But I think this is the perfect number right here. Right around 19 or 20. Essentially, Kira cannot move out except with most of his army. Otherwise, the mutas will easily pick it off. Or the Lings can join in and get the rest. So far. I mean, there's no refinery to hide this, but there's no Overlord speed. Oh, and the mutas, the Widow Mines connect! And they don't have detection, so they can't even clean them up. Kira, yeah, gets a little supply blocked. Medevac made its way along the southern flank. Sue actually didn't have any Overlords back there. So Sue caught a little off guard. This will drag all the Lings and Banelings back. Just the fact there's nothing here. Kira moving out on the map. The classic 1-2 bait and switch. He drags him back and pushes forward. Very simple, but effective. Well, the Marine pre-split nearly maxed out. 2-2 versus 1-1. Widow Mine doesn't do much. Medevacs at the front line. Creep being cleaned up. Good luck, Sue, from this angle. Widowmine's repositioning. Enough Marines splitting off to make things difficult. Cure, slowly but surely grinding down around the edges of the creep and working his way inward. A huge amount of Lings and Banes from the north side as the creep starts to recede. Widowmine's connecting on the medevacs here. More Banelings crashing through the Thor. Cure just overrun on the field. And in a full retreat, routed somehow. I'm not even sure. I guess the Widowmine's turning traitor there. Really didn't help. Another set of mines actually hit mostly Cure's medevacs. Banelings rolling through, splitting the Thor back. It needs to keep working on the Mutas. Thor picked up, dropped back down. Sue. That was a costly fight. He lost a lot of the Banelings. Banelings that attack don't show up on the units lost, but he's lost 2,500 gas here. Overall, Cure, I think, did the best that, well, he could have done better. The Widowmines almost exclusively hit Terran as well as Zerg. The medevacs bearing the bruises of that. The Thor needs a repair. The medevacs could use it as well, though everyone knows that you're not allowed to repair medevacs because reasons. Yeah, reasons. Classify. Ooh, Sue, unfortunately, he went so far down the Muta road, he couldn't find an opportunity to split off into the infestation pit in the hive. This is the biggest weakness of the Mutaling Baneling style, is how gas heavy it is, how larva heavy, how you have so little opportunity to transition into another unit composition or to tech up. And that means that Cure has three on the way, those maxed out upgrades. He's getting more bases. His army is just going to be better. He's got a nice amount of workers to fall back on. And right now, the map is not mining out yet. We got another 5 or 6 minutes before the main and the natural are fully dried up. And we get into the point where each fight really matters. This is when that fully upgraded Terran is strongest. So Sue, Brenda, the true queen, the brood mother, leading all the Lings and Banes. Maybe not where they need to be. Looks like a Thor, some Widowmines, the TPM, the turrets per minute for Cure raising. Beautifully done. And by beautifully done, I mean I'm just excited to see that many turrets. That's kind of a weird thing to say in that context. Anyways, Lings and Banes will rolling through the front line, evaporating here. This is all before 3-3. Overseers drawing some of the mines. Good split from Cure. Sue forced to rebuild. How many mutas left over? Still 18. 12 mutas lost so far, which seems like a relatively low number. He's got all the bases on his side, now reaching out for the center. Not being stingy with the hatcheries is Sue. Here, though, understanding that he's about to hit that peak, that +3/+3. Trying to maintain a position on the map. He hasn't been able to get a decisive winning fight where he either wipes out the mutas or is able to pressure a base. Building armor already started. Going to be helpful when the mutas try to snipe things like this. He starts these, honestly, I think partially a bait. So the mutas might commit to the NG base, but Sue probably has already checked for the 3-3. He's dragging things back now, and 3-3 for himself is done. A double ultra cavern. Oh, okay, if he built them next to each other, I think it's intentional to get both upgrades. If he builds them in random places, maybe not. But he does want the ultras. I don't think they're a terrible call here. Whoa! I'm sorry. 34 kills on that mine. 34. So, paid for itself, and it's not done because there wasn't detection. Yeah, Ultras can take a few mine hits where Zerglings very much can't. The Muta's still being annoying. There goes high-sec auto-trekking. While those upgrades not grow, Banelings from the north side. Thor's making a harder target. The Muta count is still high enough. He's doing it. Double Ultra upgrades. I love it. He knows what he wants, and he knows how to get it. These Widow Mines are a little bit too much. There are no ghosts. There's a few Marauders on the way, but there's still so many mutas. Cure is reluctant to commit. At least. Ghosts are fine against mutas. Thors are good. But unless you actually see the Ultras, or in many other cases, You see? Foreshadowing. This Ultra, it's time for vengeance. The gold base has mined through at least some of the mineral patches, which means the Lings and Banes can roll through the gap. Creep extending far enough to kind of be a launching pad for many of those Banelings. More Lings and Banes, but Cure maintains his supply. He's got 127. Yeah, make no mistake, this is still the army to beat. A few Ultralisks are not going to turn the tides against this much Terran unless Cure is in a terrible position or just outright panics. Chitinous plating is not done. The Venn diascan spots the Ultralisks. There's still a few Widow Mines dotting the field. The Ultras are spotted. Another armory is on the way. Wait, did he lose the first one? Yes. Oh yeah, everything at the back of the base got sniped. Just undercut by the Mutalisks. 3-3 is finished. Ghost Academy on the way. That late game option. We see so much in Terran versus Zerg, but we've definitely taken a different road getting here. Oh, wow. All right. Here come the Banelings. Ultra crashing through the gap created. Oh, what a save on that last door. Zoning out the Mutas for now. The Ultras closing the distance. Still a lot of Marauders in the mix here. The Mutas are going for the command center. Widow Mine's gonna hit. Oh, chopping the sword dies. Cure, no. But overall, a decent fight for Cure. This is a weird. I'm in a weird position. I'm a completely unbiased and neutral caster, but I'm usually rooting for Cure. But since Sue, I'm excited, one, to see Sue back in general, and two, I love the style he's playing. Though it does seem to be getting some diminishing returns. But of course, I am not biased at all, even though I would love to see Sue win with the double Ultra different upgrades. Complete lack of bias, just objectively is more fun. Ultras, Lings, Banes. The Muta count has been whittled down to 14. I really thought the number would be lower than that, so whittled down would make more sense. But still enough to be able to take out Widow Mines and Medivacs. Cure never restarted. Well, I assume he has an energy base somewhere, but he never restarted the high-sec auto-tracking, the fortress upgrades, essentially, the building upgrades. Just Ghosts in production in Banelings, as both players are maxed out or approaching it. Just a whole lot of Lings and Banes rolling back and forth. There's so many of them. You're gonna melt my GPU, Sue. Okay, I know this game is 12 years old, but these Banelings are ridiculous. Rolling around. Cure knows when he's in danger. He wants the Ghosts. He set up he's playing Minecraft now, essentially. Look at that mine spread. I can't believe it's not butter. Meanwhile, Widow Mine's on the front line. The Ghosts a little bit off to the side. Where are the snipe volleys? Get some shots off. The Marines are forced back towards the planetary. The first part of the fight, well, usually as Zerg, you need to win the first part of the fight so hard, there is no second. Unfortunately here, while Sue bashed through the front line, the Ghosts were able to retreat. Marauders kind of came swinging in from the north. I have no idea. He was keeping them in reserve, and they ended up working out, actually. Mostly Marines and a handful of Ghosts died. For some very expensive units out of Sue. He lost several Ultras. He's lost 600 Zerglings. He's making more Ultralisks. Well, welcome back, Sue. He's only going to have so much money to work with, but right now you still have probably 1, 2, 3 bases mining, so enough. Well, obviously enough to afford this for now. He's making more Lisks and Lings. No finesse here. Brute force is the choice. You're retreating. The Bubula slowing things down. Does he have Burrow? He doesn't have Burrow. Snipes, you can't turn your back or it'll get shot from afar. You're gonna be able to cancel those snipes like it's StarCraft Ghost. But with the Ultras off of creep and nothing in front, that's what the Banelings are for. That's what the sheer amount of Zerglings, to be able to close the distance. The Ghost count is at 7, not overwhelming yet. but there's only 1 or 2 more good waves here before Sue starts really hurting. The army looking good. The Widow Mines take the front chunks out. The Mutalisk closing the distance on the Ghost, actually interrupt a lot of the snipes. And suddenly Cure's army is looking a lot smaller. The Muta's the key part of dealing with the Ghost. Not a usual counter, but indeed a welcome one. The Planetary ripped to shreds the last bastion of defense, but once again, where are these Marauders coming from? I have no, like, no, for the second time, the Marauders just come swinging in to clean up the Ultras. The Widow Mines recharge, there's no detection. The Mutas will eat some parting shots. The minefield survives. Cure's last-ditch Marauders come dropping in. I think he was clearing creep or something. So Cure, with another command center on hand and the Widow Mines, will survive for now. He lost. Oh my god! I'm sorry. I choked a little. Well, can we get a look at the income disparity? Oh my. So, all of the mules will drop here. And Cure, for the first time in 10 or so minutes, will take the income lead, though a bit of a temporary one, because it doesn't... Oh, well... Will we have time to actually use it? Widowmine's find another round. Ghost microing back. Can he get the snipes? Looking for an opportunity. Widowmine still doing their best. Another planetary has been created. Would have really loved to have building armor at this point. Might have helped that first planetary lift. Does he have a scan? I think he dropped so many mules he has no scans, or at least he didn't for a moment there. He's just now recharged. The Ghost could look for the snipes. Fires a couple shots on the left Ultra. The other two are swinging in now. The Kaiser Blades looking fierce. As well as a whole lot more Banelings. Another Ultra down. Sue bashing his way through the front door. He refuses to retreat, at least until he runs out of Zerglings. Another round coming in. There's no energy for snipes right now. Retreating back to the high ground, but another round of Banelings. Widowmine's looking for an opportunity. Blasting through. The Ultra still stomping into the front lines. The Muta's trying to clean anything up while the Ultra draws fire. So much damage has been dealt to both sides. What a brawl, but Cure's starting to run out of units. Another Ultra on the planetary. 1v1 me, bro. Finally, someone worthy of my attention. Another set of Widowmines connect, but Cure has plummeted under 100 supply. The only really fresh mining base, the planetary that's fighting Ultras. The Mutas find an opportunity. The fight continues, but the war might nearly be won. Well, the Mutas are struggling against the Marines. The Marines trying to dodge underneath the Marauders as the Marauders fight the Ultras, and the Ultras chop through everything else. The Ultra count is high enough. He's got a hero list left. Sue retreats. What a fight. 18 Ultras, 45 Mutas, but Cure is down at 72 supply. The supply, on the other hand, though, 137, 152. He's still got money. He's building drones. Cure struggling on all fronts here. Oh my. The Widowmine's connecting yet again. But this time, whoa, that set of Widowmines hit most of the Banelings. Has to retreat behind the planetary. The Banelings crash in. The Ultras chop through. The Mutalisks, well, are mostly gone. But the Zerglings overwhelm, and Sue takes out Cure in one of the more exciting Terran versus Zergs. I love the style, the tenacity, the perseverance, and mostly the Ultras. I love a man who knows what he wants. And he wanted Ultralisks. Double upgrade Ultras, and he never gave up on them. Now, is it because it was Cure, or is it because that's just his style? I don't know. But I'm hoping for more. Cure, to his credit, very competent micro. I think it was the right call to sit back and go for Ghosts. It's a very hard call, like, before they get a critical mass of either Ultralisks or before they start hitting your bases, do you want to stay aggressive? But I think it was the right call, it just didn't end up working out. So, Jimmy, can we go to game 2? Not Sue. 2. I know. 2,000 atmospheres. A lot of pressure on both players. I do hope to see more of that. Like, that is I guess the issue, and the reason we don't see quite that. Players like Rogue will occasionally try it. Even Serral will dabble in it, but he's more of a Lurker Viper player. It just, you do have to overwhelm. It's not cost effective. The Ultra Muta. It is, you will lose so many units in each fight. And all it takes is one bad fight, and then suddenly the Ghosts and the Medevacs come marching across. But Cure couldn't quite keep up. Can I talk about the double upgrade Ultralisk? Oh my god. I'm very happy. And it worked, too. Would it have mattered if it didn't? I don't think so. I think it was clear he was going to get enough done with the Ultras. Either way. And to be clear, Sue has not been gone since like 2012. Okay, since a great man, Hydra, once said, when I'm far ahead and I want to lose, I make Ultralisks. At that time, they were almost a guarantee of failure. Now they're an ultra risk. They do have the speed upgrade and more armor than they did at that time, but Ghosts are definitely a very present danger. Probably the largest sticking point in the late game in Zerg versus Terran at the moment. Now, that was kind of like that was a good workout. That's one of those games, if you have it on the ladder, obviously way slower and way worse. You're like, that was a great game of StarCraft right there. And I don't think either player are going to be exhausted by that one. That was the kind of game they both loved to play. It wasn't a super turtle match. It was just a back and forth, like, macro brawl. But we got to come at it fresh in game 2. And by that I mean probably the same opener. Because, yeah. 3cc. Oh, you're gonna get the creep tumor or gonna die to a queen. Probably the second one at this rate. Third CC. He's got a starport on the way. So far, so standard. Still, like, the point of the 111, the Destiny Cloud Fist build, is to have all those options open. Is you can go any direction with this, I guess, besides Mass Marine early, but that's one of the least effective and most predictable strategies. You've got Hellions, you have pretty much any style out of the starport. Occasionally we'll see Banshees, of course, Viking, Battle Cruiser. I don't even whisper it, I say it proudly. Battle Cruiser. Nope, that was the opposite of... Anyways. Sue, mixing things up, though, on his end. Where is that roach? It's at his natural. It looks to be a roach all in. He's already got lings on the way. He's hiding the lings. Did he see the third? No, he's just... I mean, better than 50% chance of a quick... Not just Cure, everyone. Cure. Gonna flip over. Is it a Banshee? Wait, did he see? He may have seen the drone count. He's making a Banshee. He's building a bunker. Cure. He smells something. Some cheddar. Yeah. Well, it appears Cure has figured it out. Feels kind of like the mutas of last game, where Cure obviously had an idea of what was happening, even though he didn't have all the information. This time around, though, unlike the mutas, there's only one point you really need to defend. Yeah, the Viking sees it. And with a bunker, a second bunker, a Banshee with cloak. So he only has 35 drones. He's gambling. He wants just that quick 2-0. But Cure for someone who went 3cc, this is about as good as defense gets. He's got low ground bunkers, and if he can hold them, I mean, it's 3cc. Yeah, he's not being stingy with the SCVs either. There's only 2 Ravagers. A 3rd Ravager shows up, but Su doesn't aim the corrosive biles particularly well. Oh, wow. Yeah, this is not... You're stuffing him at the door here. Oh, he actually pulled the SCVs back, but the Hellions... Plus the... Yeah, this is not happening. Wow. And Su just taps it out. He knows when he's beat. Well... Cure, he figured it out. He shut it down, and he brings himself into Game 3 all tied up. I mean, shoot your shot, right? Also, that map, definitely more of a struggle to play mid-game against Terran. Smaller rush distance. Well, actually, Blackburn kind of is. I don't know. I can't blame it. Worth a shot. Honestly, Su hasn't been here for a couple years. Or he hasn't been... He's probably been playing, but probably not playing as professionally, obviously. We've kind of gone from Roach all-ins being a risk against Terrans with 3cc to just not happening. Partially because of what Kira just did. It's been figured out. It seems like at some point there haven't been patches. Kira, where are you going with those SCVs, bro? What are you up to? There haven't been patches. There hasn't been anything. It's just that Terrans have kind of figured out how to hold it against everything but the most committed. You just have to be very active on the scouting and decent with the micro. Honestly, a lot of Zergs have just... The way they handle 3cc is by getting even greedier. That's why you have such a passive early game. But, you know what isn't a passive early game? Jimmy, can we get some points? Building 2 barracks outside your opponent's base. Cure decides to give him a taste of his own cheese platter. Well, this is even more old school than like a 3-base Roachling all-in as a proxy 2 Rex. So here is Cure. Well, Su is sending out a second Ovi. Look. And he... Wow, he reacted perfectly in time. Cure does not see the Overlord. Now, the only risk here is if there's more racks behind. The response to a 3 or 4 racks is very different than 2. But Su seems to be... He's already brought... Okay, this is a bit much. I feel like it's so far away. Was this really necessary? If he blocks one of the racks... Wow, this is a strong response. Is this worth it? I guess he can kind of stop it before it starts. The Predator drones are on the hunt. But now, like... Well... Yeah, you gotta go home. He's gonna try to sneak his way. The Marines are looking to intercept. Well, here we are. Whoop. Yeah. Cure waiting for him. This is awkward. Cure does have a factory, but he doesn't have an expansion behind. This was quite committed. The SCVs are coming back, repairing one another. Actually, has anything... Only 1 Marine has been lost. A creep tumor. The drones are being boxed out. Yeah, this is kind of why I was a little questioning this a little. You do want to shut down the bunkers, but the drones are now in purgatory. He's going to try to get them home. The Marines are heading for it. He may lose 1. The Queen Brenda gonna sacrifice herself so the drones might live, which is a very Queen thing to do, I think. The Lings, yeah, Su with a very direct response. Though I'm not convinced the best one. I love it though. Wow. You know, Su has shown he's nothing if not decisive. From the double ultra cavern to the quick GG to the drone pull here. Su knows what he wants. And even if it doesn't work out, like, this is some decisive Zerg. Speed is done in 10 seconds. He's obviously waiting for it. Cure should know. It's pretty clear speed is on the way. And the Lynx. All right, gets this around. The Hellion doing its best. He's just stutter stepping back to Lynx. I think everyone will die somehow. They'll go down to... Yep. Two Lings survive. The Queen does. Creep can spread. Cure starts his command set. So here we are. Hellions. Okay, decent Hellion micro. Lings kill the rest of the Marines. So this is definitely an awkward start. I think Sue handled it. Now, he handled it fine. But I hesitate to say well, because look at the drone count. He's just now adding on a few more. Lings are also, now this is true, write this down. Not drones. Write this down as well. Subscribe to Winter. At least try to make good on some of that. Knowledge is important. So, Viking, gonna try to hunt some movies. Barracks, looking for a place to land back at home. Tech Lab on the starport. Hellion drop, gonna juggle up to the high ground. It's actually hunting the Lings. The Queens will have to come back. Not nearly the creep spread you'd usually see for obvious reasons, but Hellions in the natural. Oh, the Zerglings having a tough time, but we'll be able to get the wrap around. Cure with some questionable Hellion micro. 40 Lings have died. Well, there's no Lings left here. This is a mess. This game is a mess. He doesn't even care about that. He loses the medevac, but he's gonna kill so many drones. Wow, what a brawl. These two just having at each other. There's a Viking in the main, by the way, but what is it gonna do? Land? What is it gonna do? Land? Well, here he is. Sue's only at 36 drones. He's got double Evo and a lair on the way. So I'm... With the Roach one, we may be looking at a Roach play here, but the Hellions just roasted drone. There's not that many Lings. I think Sue is... Well, not Sue. Kira's a little surprised to see that. Hellions trying to run off the creep. The Lings, not... The Viking here to help out. Actually does a pretty good job. Only loses one Hellion. Sue is bouncing back in the drone count, but Cure went 3cc, so it did end up at a 3cc relatively early for how much madness has already happened. Sue looks like he's going to go for mass Zergling, though has enough gas in the bank. I don't think we're stopping at Zerglings. Is it Mutas again? Yes! Oh, he loves them. No, this is not going to do as well. Do I take that back? The drones box out of it all. He sees the Spire, by the way. Kills 6 drones. Wow. 7! And a Spire Scout. So while Sue is making up for these losses, Cure is definitely getting plenty done. He doesn't have that many wrecks at home. The best defense against Mutas is a good offense. If you can put yourself out there with the Marines and the medevacs, well, like this, then shutting down the Mutas before they can come across the map is the ideal scenario. You do not want to let them, as we saw in Game 1, you do not want to let them have their way with a mineral line. Another important thing to note here for Sue, he didn't build a baneling nest, and he's just now adding the Hydralisk den. So it's just going to be mass Zergling, and they don't have the upgrades yet. Against Stim Marines, well, they don't have combat shield, and thankfully they don't have +1. But this 4th hatchery is not going to make it. I felt pretty confident saying that, yes. Meanwhile, the Hellions! You're getting so much done with Hellions. Oh, in a great positioning there. 7 kills, Marines swinging in. Cure finds some more drones. Ling's looking for the wraparound. 1-1 is done. Cure picks up immediately. I think he noticed. 7 mutas on the way. Drops into the main. All right. Well, Sue is just taking punches and bouncing back from him. From the start of the game, pulling his drones, but still recovering. Things are building up, though. Things. And by that, I mean Cure's army. He's got only 3 racks of production, actually, which is manageable. The mutas are fighting the Marines to mild success. Cure doing a good job targeting and making things difficult, but at some point, the Marines, not enough. Wow, Cure rethinks it. He moves back. He needs 2 more racks. He adds them on. Armory on the way, but 2-2 already started for Sue. The only thing he's lacking is hatcheries. He doesn't really have the production right now to use his 74 drones. I guess if he starts going for Hydrolus, losing the 4th hatch while going for any Ling and Lisk composition is troublesome. And Sue, I think, understands that. Adds on another base. These are some great games. I hope you guys are enjoying. I am. There's a lull in the action. These two, I didn't know what to expect from Sue. I honestly hadn't remembered him. I mean, I remembered him. I just couldn't really remember his style. And I'm not even convinced this necessarily was his style, but it is now, and I'm loving it. I would love to see what he has to say on Zerg versus Protoss. It's like, I like to go roaches and then die to carriers. It's like, no, Sue, don't steal my builds. Well, the Marines drag back the Ling Bane. Mutas are looking to box out, but Cure swings in. A smart strategic move. The tank's in a good position. The Lings and Banes, this hatchery, not even canceled. Not a huge deal. 1 medevac, gun down with all hands. Cure retreating now. I thought he might press the issue a little further, but he wants to join up with the rest of his forces. 2-2 is on the way. Sue actually going to have a slight upgrade advantage, though I don't think he has an infestation pit, so it will end with 2-2 for now. Cure with a strong Terran army, though needs to wait out those upgrades. Just the sheer amount of damage and attacks that go through with these armies, between the Marines and their fire rate, and just the sheer amount of Zerglings. The upgrades, this matchup is probably the most important for those upgrades of any in the game. Specifically these unit compositions as well. So Cure being patient. 2-2 is done though. I think that'll see a little bit of enhanced aggression. As right now he's the best he's going to get for a while, and he runs the risk of Sue counterattacking or otherwise undercutting him as time goes on. He isn't maxed, though. Sue indeed is. The Mutas being annoying. So many Lings and Banes. Reinforcements rushing to the front. Off of creep is Sue. Rolling through with the Banelings. The choke point in the middle. Back up to the secondary high ground. Cure realizes the Mutas aren't here. Picks up. Decides not to try to fight this. Well, the Mutas, thankfully, not going to deal with the medevacs. He has to unload as quick as possible. Sue looking to bash down the front door. The 4th command center, the planetary, last second to potentially cancel. He will not. The Marines will chase. Sue looking to finish it off right as it completes. 11 SCVs go down with it. The Mutas are still technically in the main, so Cure, well, maybe overextended a bit. A couple stims, and those Banelings are looking very dangerous. So Sue traded a huge amount of units to get that 4th and take this fight. He's lost a few more minerals and a similar amount of gas. Actually, a lot closer than I thought here. starting the infestation pit, +3 infantry weapons on the way, more marines and tanks and medevacs here out of Cure. But he's caught unsieged in the middle of the map. The banelings are rolling through. Cure splitting. A very capable split here. The Lings and Banes off of creep, not able to close the distance, and the medevacs hold the line. The Muta swinging back in towards the main. Cure, though, presses forward, understanding that he can't let the momentum shift too far. Otherwise, Su's gonna run away with it. It's very tenuous right now. Su does not have hive tech. He doesn't have lurkers. He doesn't have ultras. And without them, he can still be beaten by this bare bones Terran army with the basic tech and a whole bunch of marines. Sensor tower taken out by whatever mutas remain. The gang of mutas will continue to harass whatever they can, draw Cure's attention away, but Cure's army is now knocking on Su's door yet again. What will he answer with? Well, the mutas are cut off on the way across. A great flank from the north. The banelings are closing in. Cure microing off a creep, but maybe a little bit too slow. The tanks are taken out. Marines on the high ground, but the numbers are thinning. Once again, a couple tanks unsieged will be picked up and saved for now. The mutas are showing up to the party, knocking down a medevac. Cure down to 115 supply. Su has no such limit. At 150, Cure's army supply now dipping underneath that. It's 63 to 62, but the upgrades +3 infantry weapons completed. Cure just keeps stepping a little too far with those reinforcing tanks and isn't able to really find an opportunity to use them. He's got to kill that Bane. Oh, eats a big hit from the Bane. Another round is coming through, and that allows the Hydras to close the distance, split the damage on the tanks. The Bio Army doesn't have enough to hold. Su overrunning the few mutas left over, still helping to deny the 4th base. Cure retreats to the high ground, but he can't take any more steps back because he left the game, and Su takes it 2-1. Su with this brute force swarm Zerg. Now that's the Broodlord I've been waiting on. Not the literal one, the figurative one. I couldn't come up with anything more clever, but hopefully Su can. I thoroughly enjoyed this series, and I hope you did as well. Thank you for watching. Thank you to Team AlphaX for always putting on some great matches, and I hope you check out more. I'm excited for more Su. Who do you want to see him face? I'll try to find it if I have to. I'll coerce them as well. With money. That's the implication, which you can help with by liking, subscribing, ring the bell. Who should Su play next? Good luck, have fun. I'll see you next time. Check out these videos, those videos, all the videos. Stay chill.